Good afternoon, sir. I'm Scotty, one of the Porsche product geniuses over here at Porsche of Ocala. And first of all, let me be the first to say congratulations on your new Cayenne S. As you see, we have it all nice and cleaned up in our showroom, ready to go over to Colorado with you. But since you're so far away, we don't want to leave you hanging and just getting kind of a lackluster delivery. We want to make sure that you are aware how to work everything on your brand new car. We don't want to leave you hanging one bit, just as if you came and picked it up right over here in person. So the first thing we're going to do is just go ahead and get started here. So let's go ahead and get over to the driver's side door. Now, the first thing is first, I do have the key on me, and I did set the settings on both keys because this car does work based on a profile system. So if you unlock the car with one key, it goes to that key's settings, and if you unlock the car with the other key, it goes to that key's settings. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, is just unlock the car, and we can do that just by reaching for the door handle without a problem. And if we want to lock the car, we just go ahead and press this little button right over here, and that locks it nice and easily, no problems at all. And, of course, we're going to unlock the car in just a moment here. There we are. And then what's really nice is with Porsche, you can do this on all four doors nice and easily. Now we're going to go ahead and come over here to the trunk. And, of course, to pop the trunk, there's several different ways to do so. You can, of course, press a little button right over here on the key fob. You can press it on the inside, or you just give a little squeeze right under the actual Cayenne S logo. And, of course, opens up electronically. Now, I do see you have the towing package right over here, so that's really useful here. And look at that. I get a free tag. Those are always fun to find. But, of course, in the back over here, now I'm not sure about Colorado laws, but you do have the front plate bracket right over here just in case. In Florida, we don't have to worry about that, luckily. And, of course, your spare tires right down over here with your jack and everything like that. Your wheel lock is right over there. I can't point at it. There we go. And a little screwdriver to take your plate off in case you have to. Everything is all back there just in case. But you do have your little tie downs right over here. Really easy stuff. And, of course, your privacy screen. Now, I really like Porsche's privacy screens because you actually attach them to the back parts of the seat, so that if you actually, you won't even have any gap that people can even look in there to see what else you have in here. And, of course, this guy stretches all the way out. Right, now I got the screens all closed and attached to the back of the seats. And if you fold the seats down, it's not a problem. It'll automatically disconnect itself just really easily, just by the force of the seats folding forward. But I want to show you a cool little trick right over here. If you do need to pop out this privacy screen, it's just this little button right over here. But another really cool trick is, of course, to close the tailgate. Everybody knows nowadays everybody has an electronic closing tailgate, which you just press this little button if you just want to close, but the car will remain unlocked. But if you press this little guy, it will lock the car after it closes the trunk. But what's really nice with Porsche, if you have a low garage and you're worried about how high the tailgate opens, you actually adjust the height. So however high you actually want it to open, then what you do is you press and hold this button here until you hear a little chime. There we go. Now when you open up the tailgate, it's only going to open up to that set height that you moved it to. We're going to go ahead and let that close there, no problems. And, of course, gassing up the car. There is no button on the inside. You don't have to hit anything. All you got to do is just make sure the car's unlocked. Give a little press over here. Lift it up. There we go. And we do see minimum octane of 91 right over here, but they do say premium. So, if possible, get premium. Of course, give this little guy a little twist right over here. Unlock it. Has a nice little holder for it. Push it back in. Twist it to you hear the click. And close it back up here. And that's it. Nice and easy. So that's honestly the exterior of the car, and today we're really only going over kind of the bare details just to keep the video not an hour and a half long that we could do in some of these cars. It's crazy. But what we're going to do is just go ahead and hop on in, and we're actually going to go ahead and start in the back seat. Oh, somebody left the ashtray open. We don't want that. But, of course, as you do see, that little ashtray, you just press this little button right over here, and it does open up. Nice and easy. And, of course, your window shades are really easily controlled just by the single window switch right over here. So if you lift it up a little bit, and you'll feel there's a bunch of different resistance points right over here. If you lift it up a little bit, it'll actually raise the window shade as long as the window's closed. And if you press it down a little bit, it'll actually lower the window shade. And if, of course, you press it down all the way, it'll then, of course, lower down the window. Back over here, we do have your air vents and everything like that. You can adjust the headrest height using this little button right over here. Really easy stuff. But let's go ahead, and you can see in the back seat, because this is the part that always gets forgotten back here, we do have 4-zone climate control. Now I'm going to prop this little iPad right over here so we can see everything. We can see we do have door lock controls right over here. I'm going to open up all your vents. We have temperature control, which is going to be mirrored even in the back and the front. It's all going to be mirrored. We have temperature control on this side, your fan speed over here on this side. Where you want the air to come from is right over here. Same thing on this over here. But when you hit auto, now what auto does is it maintains the fan speed as well as where the air is coming from for you. So you don't really have to worry about anything, nice and easily. And then if you want to turn off auto, you don't actually hit it again. What you do is you adjust the fan speed, and it'll disable auto in case you want to be in control of everything. Now, right over here, we do have your heated seats on both sides, and of course, once again, mirrored all in the front without a problem. And that's about it in the back seat. So we're going to go ahead and migrate on over to the front seat. And the interior of this car is truly remarkable. Really sharp-looking interior. And I did scoot the seat all the way back so I can get a little little better camera view here, and I still got to scoot it back just a little bit more. But let's go ahead and start off with the door over here. It's going to get real quiet in here after I shut this. But starting off over on the door right over here, at the top, is going to be how you control your blind spot detection. So you just hit this little guy right over here and hit it again and it would turn it off. But you want that little red light on. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the car. Hit this little guy right over here. Blind spot is on. You get a little indication right over there in the mirror to let you know that it's on. And that's it. You're all good to go. To fold in the mirrors, you hit this little button right over here. I'm going to re-grab the iPad and hit that little button. You can see them fold in. And if you want them to fold back out, all you got to do is just hit it one more time. That's it. Now, let's say you got everything right over here, because everything else is pretty nice and easy. You got your window controls. You can control those rear shades from here as well. Locking the rear windows disables a lot of the functions in the rear seat. So if they're messing around with the AC back there, just hit this little guy and they won't be able to do anything back there. This little guy actually controls, you can pop the tailgate. And if you press and hold that very same button and keep it held all the way, it'll lower itself back down. So really easy stuff there. But let's go ahead and talk about how to get everything all set for your seat and such. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is get the car turned on, and then we're going to come right over here to the seat. Now, starting off in the front, we actually have your thigh support, which is going to be right over here. Pressing it forward, retracting it back. We have forward and back of the seat, height, as well as tilt of the seat. We also have the pitch of your back here. I need to scoot that back. And then we have your 4 ways of lumbar support here. So if you want it to be extended out, or if you want it higher on your back, or low on your back, or just retract it back. And that's it. So that's going to be your seat setting. Now, the steering wheel is always fun to show because they like to hide it. There's no little spoon right over here. It's actually this little divot that's right over here underneath the steering wheel. And what you're going to do is you just move this little plastic bit wherever you want it to go. So if you want the steering wheel to go up, you press it up. If you want to go back in, you press it back in. If you want to pull it out towards you. And that's it. Then once you have everything all set, what we're going to do, and now here's where things get a little interesting with Porsche, is we're going to go set and 1, then set and key. Now the set and key is going to be done multiple times. Anytime you change any major settings on the car, you want to go set and key, and that's it. Because that doesn't just memorize your seat settings or mirror settings, it memorizes everything, including your AC settings, navigation settings, map settings, radio tuning, everything is all memorized by going with the key. So if you get inside the car with the other key, you'll still be able to get your seats, mirrors, and steering wheel control by just hitting 1, but everything else is going to be by the key. So there we go, just in case. And that's it, nice and easy. And of course, coming right over here, we do have your electronic parking brake. This iPad starts to get real heavy after a bit. But we just hit this little guy right over here, and that controls your electronic parking brake without a problem. I'm in the showroom right now, so I have the headlights off to keep just power drain to a minimum. But we're going to push it, before I end this video, I'm going to push it right over here into auto, and that's where they're going to stay on for the rest of the car's life without an issue. Coming over to the left-hand side of the steering wheel, we're going to have your turn signals. Of course, always operate just as you expect. Just down a little bit for 3 ticks for lane change. Down all the way, keeps them turning on. No problems at all. High beams, pull it towards you to flash. Press it away to keep it on if it's dark enough out. And only let you do it if it's dark enough out. So right now, it's still not dark enough. But that would just keep them on. This car does also have automatic high beams, so you really don't even have to worry about that. You press it forward to let the car do everything for you. Cruise control right down over here is really cool too. I got to turn that wheel without any assist here. So what we're going to do is hit that little button, and we'll see a little indication pop up in your digital display right over there. And what you're going to do from there is just press the little stalk forward, and it would actually set the speed. You press it forward again, and it increases in speed. Pull it back towards you, decreases in speed. If you want to start coasting, you press it down. And if you want to resume, you press it up. And that's all located right on the stock itself. It reads out everything pretty nice and easily, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. Of course, we have your paddle shifter, stuff like that. We're going to talk about maybe on another day if you have some questions on it, because it's not necessary, but it does add to the fun of this, of course, being a Porsche. Now, right over here, we do have the volume control for the radio, or located right over here. Absolutely no difference. Answer and hanging up phone calls right over here. Or, of course, if you have a phone call coming in, it will pop up on the screen right over here to do the same exact controls. Absolutely no difference. This little guy is a very interesting function. I'm going to re-grab the iPad here. This little guy is actually a programmable button, and it's set using this little digital guy right over here. But right now, all I have it doing is just repeating your navigation instructions. So if you have navigation going, you didn't hear it, maybe you're listening to something important on the radio, big game playing or something like that, and you missed a play, all you got to do is hit this little guy, and it'll actually repeat what the navigation tells you to do. So if you have to take a right at the next exit, hit this little guy, you didn't hear it, it'll tell you take that right at the next exit. Pretty useful stuff. Of course, horn, nothing crazy. Give a little press right over here. Coming to the right side, we have how to hang up your phone. And of course, the controls for our digital display, which is right over there. Now, how this little guy works is I just give it a little twist, just to cycle through everything. And once I see something I want to get into, let's say tire pressure, all I got to do is just press the button in, that same little dial that I've been spinning. And you can see the different options. So right now I can see tire load is at 20, is a 20-inch for all season, and those are the tires you have. If you're doing a full load, you're doing a big trip, you got this car loaded up to the maximum capacity of weight, and you need to change the tire pressure to do so, it'll tell you that to adjust accordingly. You can see fill info. Now the car isn't driving, so it won't be able to give us the actual tire pressure, so we don't have to worry about that. And in the back out of that, I just hit the little back arrow. But very important, we have Sports Chrono, which is, of course, is going to be your lap timer. And right now, we got yours right over here to set for the clock, which looks great in the red, too. We're going to cycle through everything. But here's where you're going to go to change settings, as well as do some other things. This is going to be the vehicle page. Now, on this page, we do see a lot of different things. We see your coolant temperature. We have your oil temperature. My hand's causing the camera not to focus. We have your oil pressure, as well as battery voltage. So those are just all the things that you really kind of monitor. Not really too crazily, but they are there to help you out. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into this menu. Now from here we see info, which we can see messages, which do we have? None. We can see when to come in for servicing. So we can see we got plenty of time for that service, plenty of time for that service, and then oil change 10,000 miles. Not a problem. We can check limits right over here. We don't even need to worry about speed limits. This is a Porsche after all. And we come right over here to settings. But we also see oil level. Now that one's very important. Car's not on, can't measure the engine oil, but this is how you measure it the easiest way. Is just using this digital display right over here. So I'm going to back out of there and go into settings, and then we see all the different settings. Tons of different stuff. Now, I set all this stuff for you for both keys, so you shouldn't have to worry about any of that stuff. But anything particular, setting the date and time is set automatically, but maybe you don't like all the doors to be unlocked, which I have set for you. You come in here and you can set it for just driver's door or whatever you want it to do. Not a problem. That's it there. And then, of course, keep scrolling through. We have your audio information. You can press a little dot right over here and go through your presets or anything like that, or your station list. Since we're under here in Porsche building, we have absolutely no signal. It's a concrete bunker. We have your navigation information right over here as well, in case you want to enter in a destination, whatever you want to do. And, of course, your map information is right over here. You actually put your navigation right over here. Now, that's 200. That's the road that we're actually on, so that's the only road you can really see. But if I were to actually zoom out of that, you'll be able to see a little more. But I always like just doing auto zoom. Makes things a whole lot easier. And that's it. That's pretty much the whole digital display. And of course, there's a few more. We have your telephone stuff here. We backed over here to your trip computers. Everything like that is all on this little display. And I always just leave it on the navigation one, or of course the map one, just like that. Coming right down over here. Oh, well, I'm going to start running out of breath here in just a moment. We have, once again, as we saw in the back, going to be your AC controls. So if I want the temperature, I can adjust that. We have auto, fans, where you want the air to come from, fan speed. Everything is exactly mirrored as it is on the back. We do have your heated seats, but also in the front, we do have ventilated seats. Now, those are really nice. Coming right over here, we have your hazards, front windshield defroster, rear windshield defroster. We have air circulation right over here. Now, this car does have auto air circulation, so you really don't even have to worry about it too much unless you're just smelling a garbage truck. But high levels of pollutants, smoke, allergens, anything like that will turn on air circulation for you, and you don't have to worry about a thing. Of course, sync just matches the both sides together. So if I go ahead and turn on the fan speed on my side, and I were to hit sync, you'll see it just match up onto the other side. If I were to adjust mine, it changes on the other side as well. That's all it does. No problems. Right over here, now we have absolutely no use for this in Florida, but that's going to be your downhill descent control. So in this great big Colorado mountains where you're going down, it's 15, 20 degree grade. You don't want to overheat the brakes. You don't want to do anything crazy. You hit that little button right over there, and it brings you to a brisk walking pace of about 7 to 8 miles an hour. And all you got to do is steer down that mountain nice and easily. Otherwise, we have your rear windshield defroster, AC max for those hot days, and just AC that can stay on for the rest of the car's life. That's it. Now, of course, the car's off. We're just in accessory mode, so that's going to just remain off for the meantime. The gear selector is just a simple pistol grip configuration. Press your foot on the brake, squeeze it, pull it all the way to the drive, reverse, wherever you want to, no problems. And, of course, you do have the manual mode right over there, which would mean you have to shift through the gears yourself. That's it. Once again, any questions on anything, just contact us. We'll make sure we get you all taken care of without a problem. That's it. Coming over here to the mirror, it is an auto-dimming mirror. All we got to do is hit this little button right over here. A little light comes on. Now it's ready for auto-dimming without a problem. A lot of different buttons over here. My hand's going to get real tired holding it up to aim at these little puppies. We're going to talk about this. We have a reading light on this side, reading light on the passenger side, whole lights, the whole halo effect, which looks really cool. This little guy is just telling you that if you press this button, you open up a door, the lights will not come on. This turns on the rear lights. This turns on and off your ambient lighting, which kind of occurs along you can kind of see this little strip right over here, how it's glowing. That would disable that right there. If you're going through a car wash and your park distance control, your little beepers for the front and rear sensors are going bonkers at you. Hit this little guy and disables it. The garage door, aha. Now that one, contact me whenever you're ready. Of course, you can use our main phone number to say you want to speak to one of the Porsche Product Genius or Scotty or even Scott Prince, your salesman. Whatever you want us to do, we'll get you taken care of because that one, it could take a little bit. And it's a little different for each garage door. Now, your moonroof is going to be this little guy right over here. This controls the actual shade. Now, you see we do have it open all the way, so if I press this forward, we can see it start closing and press it back and it goes back. But to control the glass, which only the front one, of course, actuates, it's going to be this little guy right over here. If I want the glass to go back, it's really easy. Just push it wherever you want it to go. Glass to go back, press it back. Glass to go forward, press it forward. Glass to tilt up, press it up. And glass to come back down, I pull it down. That's it. That's literally it. That's the whole shebang right there. All right. Now we're going to talk about, catch my breath there for a moment. We're going to talk about a little bit about the differential settings and everything like that. Now, once again, not too many people use a lot of this stuff in Florida, but maybe you're taking this puppy off-road right where it belongs. It's going to be right over here. If you press this up, we go into off-road mode. Now, what this does, it actually just locks in all-wheel drive, of course, really nice and easily, but it's still going to be intelligent, just made, of course, to drive a little bit more off-road. But if you go like this all the way up, it actually locks the differential. So, of course, you do not want to go fast in that mode right over there, but if you are stuck in some sugar sand, you need to get out of there, that's the mode you're going to want to be in nice and easily. And, of course, just press it back down whenever you're ready to go back on the road. Sport mode right over here. Of course, increased throttle response changes the whole driving dynamics of the car. Truly does. Exhaust gets a little louder. Throttle response sharpens up, holds gears a little longer. And since you have Sports Chrono, you actually have Sport Plus. That's going to be the mode you're going to want to go to engage launch control. Now, of course, we're going to talk about that at some other point. But this really just, it's essentially, as it says, Sport Plus. Throttle response, of course, sharpened up, everything like that. This will hold the gears all the way to red line nice and easily. This is the fun mode right over here to take through those Colorado mountains. And, of course, down over here, we do have your traction control. If you press this a little bit lightly, it loosens up the traction control. Press and hold it all the way, and it disables everything. You're on your own. Of course, down below this is going to be the automatic start and stop function. So whenever you come to a car, let's say even like a rent-a-car, you come to a red light, the car shuts off at a red light. That's this feature right over here. If the light is on, the car stays on. If the light turns off, the car will turn off at a red light. Of course, has to meet criteria first. And that's it. Nice and easy. All right, now we get into the infotainment system. Now, the infotainment system, as intimidating as it looks, is actually an incredibly easy system to operate. Probably the easiest I've worked with, and I work with BMWs, and I own Volkswagens. It's really an incredibly easy system. So, starting off right over here. Eject the CD, and of course the CD is placed in right over here. Next station, previous station, next track on the CD, previous track on the CD, all the same function. We have volume for the radio, as we know, is right over here. And of course to mute it, just press it in. Not a problem at all. We have tuner, media, source, phone, navigation, map, car, and home. And of course we see our option and back right over here. Frankly, a lot of those don't really get pressed. The back button will occasionally, but not option, because I already set everything for you. This little dial right over here can actually, as you see, just kind of scrolls through everything. This dial doesn't ever have to get used if you're just planning on using it by touchscreen, which is what I recommend. So what we're going to do is talk about tuner. Now, whenever you hit tuner first, it of course brings you to the last radio you're listening to. In this case, FM. Nice and easily. We have all your favorite presets right over here, and those little 4 bars signify how many pages of presets you can actually have. And I'm going to keep scrolling through, and there we are, nice and easily. If we wanted to save a station, we're just going to press and hold that right there, and it would save it as one of your presets. And we can see we're on the presets tab right over here. We can also store it just by hitting this. We can see details, tons of different things. Frankly, a lot of them, once again, not hugely important, but they are there to help you. Tune, however, when you hit tune, is just quickly, if you want to get to a station that you want to listen to. 93.9, anything like that, 95.5. You just twist a little dial. You can type it in. It's hard to do that looking through the camera. Your depth perception gets all screwed up, almost like watching like a 3D movie. It's a little funny. And of course, we get stored just by that. And those little dots right there actually signify the stations that are coming in. So I have to turn up the radio. I'm listening to K Country right now. And now I got music here. These are the only two stations coming in while we're under the under our Porsche building right now. But you can get the idea of what's going on there. And then, of course, list shows you the stations that are coming in at the best reception. So you can see we're a little limited just because we are under this building right over here. Now, to change the source, it's a little self-explanatory there. We can obviously just hit source. There's all the sources. No problems at all. Nice and easy. So we see AM, FM, satellite, jukebox is your SD card music, which gets stored right in here. We have 1 and 2. Auxiliary, Bluetooth, everything like that. Nice and easily. Another way of changing the source is just by hitting tuner again. And we can see this will only switch between the radio frequencies. So FM, AM, satellite. If I were to hit media, it's the exact same thing as hitting tuner, but if I hit media a couple times, it's just going to cycle in between the different sources of media. So what I recommend is just sticking with tuner and just hitting source. Just saves extra steps. That's it. Now, when we come right over here to the phone, of course, we can see it walks you through the steps. At this point, we're going to want to pull out our phone. And now I have an Android myself, so I'm going to come over here, go to my Bluetooth page. And now it sees, oh my goodness, it's trying to connect up all of our TVs over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit connect phone. There's my phone. My phone is named Test001, so I would hit on that. And I'm not going to do it. I don't want my phone paired to your car. I always hate it when I see an extra phone that I don't know who it belongs to being paired on there, so I'm not going to do it. You'd hit that. It'll tell you to confirm the pass key on your phone, and that's it. You're done. Literally don't even have to worry about anything else. You're good to go. That's it. And, of course, you'll have access to everything right over there. We can see there'll be keypad right over here, your recent and made calls right over there, text messaging if you have an Android phone will be right over here, as well as your contact list, which streams right from your phone. That's it. Any questions with hooking your phone? Once again, contact us. We'll walk you through everything. Not a problem. Navigation and map. These are going to be very important ones right over here. So let's go ahead and talk about map. There's the map. Nothing else to really go crazy over, but here it is. And if you notice, if you get your hand close, now one thing I always say is kind of stick with map. Don't even worry about hitting nav because it just shows you really nice and easily how to start guidance, cancel guidance, anything like that. But I recommend is doing everything from map. Now, if you see right now, there's nothing on this page. But if I were to get my hand close, everything pops up. This car does have proximity sensors everywhere, so it knows when your hand's getting close. So if I want to start a destination, I'm going to go ahead and hit this little guy right over here for new. Holy cow, my depth perception is screwed up looking through here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit search, or I could just do it step by step. I'm a big fan of just hitting the search one because then I could type in the address as a whole. Holy cow. This is a lot harder. I'm going to go ahead and look over the camera. And I'm just going to wait a bit. I'm going to go ahead. There it is. There's the address I want to go to. It tells me it's 650 feet behind me, which it is. I hit start, and I'm on my way. Now to cancel it. It's probably the easiest system to cancel navigation in the world. Get your hand close as soon as it finishes calculating, and hit stop. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's pretty much navigation in a nutshell. There, of course, there is a little more detail in that. If you want a little more information about that, let us know. Just for time's sake of the video, just let us know. Of course, coming right down over here, we have car. Once again, a lot of this is going to be your trip computer stuff. Right over here, we can scroll through. There it is. There's some more. There's total trip. There's trip since 443, which is when I started this video. I can reset it. I can configure it. Here's your sports chrono right over here. No reference lat time because obviously we're not on the tracks or anything like that. You can check your assist systems if you want to mainly display your park distance control, your park assist. There's your rear view camera with the front and rear sensors, and of course the back end of that. And of course, there's another place we can come to set your settings. Now, I'm just, since I've been with Porsche for a little bit, I'm still used to doing, got caught. Just setting all my settings right over here, but you can do it either way. That's it. And of course, we back out of there. And of course, we can hit home, and this brings us to, well, a home screen. So you can see we just have access to everything without actually having to hit these little physical buttons right over here. It's just all right here, nice and easily. Of course, we have apps and everything like that. And this comes, of course, with the Porsche Car Connect, PCM. There is an additional cost after a certain amount of time with all this stuff. So we don't really go into it too crazily. We have a customizable page right over here. You can see there's a compass with your altitude as well as your direction of travel, what road you're on, sound information as well as radio information. Just lots of fun little stuff here. And of course, we can come right over here to set your settings. No problems at all. And to be entirely honest, that pretty much concludes everything about your Cayenne. But if you do have any questions in the meantime, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Make sure I don't forget how to tell you to start the car. Make sure the key's over here. This stays inside the car. This does not come out. This is your dummy key. That stays right there and never has to come out. All you got to do is just make sure the key's inside the car, and you twist it with your foot on the brake. And of course, we're in the showroom, so I'm just going to immediately turn it back off. But there we are. But if you do have any questions in the meantime, let us know. We're always happy to get you all taken care of. Other than that, we hope to hear from you soon. And once again, congratulations. Take care.